Hi, everybody. This is Eating for Meaning. I'm your host, Millie Lytle, or Dr. Millie. I'm a naturopath and I'm a certified nutritionist. And we are exploring all the sun signs and how to eat for each different sun sign, whether it's your sun sign. Also, do check out your ascending or your rising sign as well as your moon sign, because that can also affect your health and how your body functions in relationship to food. As we're ascending, as we're becoming more spiritually aware, it's also very important to be in touch with our body, and our body are our temple. Your body is your temple, and so it's very important to not be perfect, but to be aware of what you're putting in your mouth. If we look at the food that's on the shelves of the grocery store, then if we think of it from a sinister perspective, which I can't help but do so because I do see the food that we're forced to eat if we select mainstream food as a form of population control. Because the food that we're eating is making us sick. It's giving us diabetes. It's giving us allergies. It's giving us high blood pressure. It's giving us food cravings. It's not by accident that so many Americans, so many North Americans, and even Western Europeans, Northern and Western Europeans, and now extending into Africa and the countries of the world that accept aid food, it's no wonder that we're suffering more and more from the Western chronic illness, which are related to obesity, related to cholesterol and cholesterol, blood sugar more than cholesterol, to be honest, stress, uh, migraine headaches, pressure, tension, depression, anxiety, cravings. And so the food that we're eating, if you think about it, is the biochemistry that you're putting into your body every day, 3 to 6 times a day. Or if you're not eating good food, then it's the biochemistry that you're not putting into your body those opportunities during the day. And this is affecting your health every single moment you're alive. And it's creating at the root level, at the root cause, how resistant you are to cold and flus, how much energy you have, how well you feel during the day, what your mood fluctuations are like, what your cravings are like, whether or not you have to self medicate with coffee, alcohol, take prescription medications or over the counter medications, whether you're in the medical system, how much you have to be included as part of the medical system, which is the sick care system that so much of us are facing. If you pay attention to your food, then you remove yourself from that common denominator for which so many people are being systemically controlled by the food that we're given, the food that's available to us by convenience, by first glance, because all the food in the grocery store shelves contains, if not hidden, but if you read the ingredients, you know it's there, but soy, corn, genetically modified foods, sugar beet or genetically modified canola oil, and genetically modified foods are altering genes, okay? Because the genes of the food itself is altered, and it can also alter our own genes, not to mention our cells on a more short-term level. It's a very concentrated amount of pesticides that you're getting. And what do pesticides do? They kill insects. And so if these are strong enough to kill insects, then imagine what they're doing to the cells of your body, not to mention pesticide levels are not controlled. They spray whenever they want. They put fungicides on seeds as much as they like. There's really very little FDA regulation, and there's very little understanding of how much chemical exposure we're getting. Chemicals are war, okay? It is warfare. It is a form of population control. I believe this very strongly. In order to become enlightened, in order to become in touch and in control of our own health and in our own evolution, then we really do need to take ourselves off the grid in a lot of the perspective, take ourselves off of prepackaged foods. And that's all the convenience foods that you might be used to eating. Now, am I saying that you can't eat any foods that you like ever again? I'm not saying that. However, I am saying that we need to develop a new palate, and this happens gradually. It is possible. We just have to expose ourselves to better quality food so that once you do that, once you start exposing yourself to better quality of food, increase your fruits and vegetable consumption, then you're no longer as vulnerable to illnesses, as well as to cravings, as well as to the control that this cheap, manufactured, overly processed, undernutritious, caloric food gives us. Okay, I am available for consultations. I am going to offer a very special price. My consultation fees as a naturopathic doctor are pretty high. They're $550 for the initial. They're $400 for follow-ups. I do have some packages, but I am going to offer a very special rate to my YouTube followers. This is a new channel for me. I really want to get myself in front of you, and I really want to help you as much as possible. I'm absolutely committed to helping people ascend from a nutritional perspective, as well as, mind, body, soul. This is all related to our health. And so I do mind, body, soul readings. Those are oracle card readings. I do them weekly here on YouTube. I just started, but this is something I'm going to continue. I can do a mind, body, oracle reading for you alone for the price of $50. And that's about a 20-minute reading. And we pick cards associated with what your question is. And that's in whatever way you're thinking about your relationships or your life or your health or your job, because it's all holistic. Okay. And I'm trying to help people improve their health in all of these ways, as we're all trying to, on a mission to ascend and trying to be the best possible versions of ourselves. The world, there's been no better time to do this work for yourself, because the world needs good energy, positive energy. It needs us uniting. It needs us sending positive energy to the powers that be, to the negative forces, to the dark side. We all need to reunite. We're here for a reason. We're here for a mission. And this is part of my mission, is to help you accomplish that. So mind, body, soul oracle readings are $50, and you can go onto my website at milliesays.com and book that. And this is only for my YouTube subscribers, okay? And you can also go on to my eatingformeaning.com page and book these. I am also doing horoscope readings, so medical astrology readings for you as an individual. We'll look at your sun, your moon, and your ascending, and we'll go over your main concerns, and I'll help you work out which foods you should be eating. This, again, is a very special deal. This is going to be $50, and you can book that right away. And I'm not sure how long these are going to last, but definitely I'm going to offer these for a little while as I build my channel. If you know anybody who's interested in taking advantage of one of these readings, please do have them come onto my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. I really appreciate it, guys. I really want to reach as many people as possible. I think that this movement is really growing. We need to be physically fit. It's not enough just to be spiritually fit. And I do not mean, you need to go to the gym. I'm not saying don't do that, but that's not really where we get fitness and health. We get fitness and health from tuning into ourselves and learning how all the inner workings of our mind and our soul and our spirit, as well as our physical, are affecting our physical being. We need to be strong physically. We need to be, warriors and activists. We need to have energy. We need to have a clear mind. We need to have a clear channeled heart. We need to know what our mission is and to know our purpose. And in order to be doing this, we need to be as healthy as possible. So I'm here to help you accomplish your vision and help you accomplish your nutrition goals and your health goals, so that you can be the best activist, the best mission agent that you possibly can be. So if you think you're a twin flame, or if you're a twin flame, or if you're a blue ray, or if you're a star seed, or if you're a mission pioneer, or if you're a soul star, wherever you feel like you are, if you know which galactic family you've come from, intergalactic family you've come from, then I'm definitely here to help you. And if you are confused as to what is happening to you, if you're confused or scared by what you're seeing or what you're feeling, or how people are responding to you in terms of your spiritual gifts, please do not be dismayed. This is part of your awakening. This is part of your gift. This is part of your soul's purpose. We are all going through this. You are not alone. And so if you feel alone, then please do reach out to me and connect, because it's really important that we unite and that we are aware of what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the light in this video. I don't know why it's changing so much, but I'm just going to take that as a lot of energy is coming through right now. And so stay tuned for your, thanks so much again for liking, subscribing. If you'd like to take advantage of one of my special offer readings, either for a mind, body, soul oracle reading, or which I'm also doing for Integral Fitness, their conscious dinner, their conscious family dinners coming up in December in New York. So I am offering them, I'm going to be offering them for free for that dinner, for the price of admission of the dinner. I'm not sure if they're still taking bookings or not for that, but so it is something that I'm going to be doing publicly as well. I do this within my practice, but I'm just offering these by themselves for $50. Or if you'd like the astrology portion, if you'd like to know what to eat for your sun sign, rising, and moon sign, then before we book that appointment or before we have that appointment, I'll have to know that information about you. And I'll have to know what your chief complaint is in terms of your nutrition. And then I'll give you also a 20-minute session, nutrition session. Okay, so again, thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. It really means a lot to me. And I'm going to try to respond to everybody's, but stay tuned for your sun sign as it relates to your nutrition. This is Medical Astrology on Eating for Meaning. Thank you. Hi, Gemini, and welcome to your general medical astrology reading. So by examining combinations and placements of the different planets in a natal chart, a medical astrologer can determine physical as well as psychological or emotional weaknesses that might cause diseases. So we can get an insight into where the body's breaking down, where the mind is breaking down, and even holding on to emotional grudges or emotional pain that can predispose us to certain conditions. By looking to see areas of weakness in individuals, naturopathic doctors, we use this information to see what organ systems are breaking down and which organ systems are strong. We put those pieces of the puzzle together, knowing how organ systems relate to one another, and then we can determine what the individual is likely to get, whether it's Alzheimer's or heart disease or obesity or even cancers in some cases. Of course, it also depends on lifestyle. So medical astrologers will offer advice to people for physiological remedies as well as precautions, so prevention. And it's based on the moon as well as the sun. So while the moon is waxing, when it's growing, it's the bright side, then the moon is considered strong. This can affect people in different ways. It can aggravate symptoms or it can give more energy and make more health. When the moon is in its waning period, when it's going from dark, increasingly darker towards the new moon, then this is when the moon is regarded as weak or wicked, and people generally are suffering from conditions that relate to energy loss. So the moon in Gemini, people are prone to bursitis, they're prone to coughs, they're prone to colds, they're prone to bronchitis. So Gemini rules the lung area and kind of the upper half of the body. So it can also be the shoulders, it can be the arms, it can be the hands, and there's inflammation generally involved. And so it can be something that happens really fast and like something that goes away really fast, but when it happens, it's very intense. So bursitis will be inflammation of the knee, coughs and colds, bronchitis, or even pleurisy, that would be inflammation in the sac of the lung. So things that are good for Gemini are, foods that are good for Geminis are spicy foods like garlic and cayenne and spicy radishes and turnips and black pepper and watercress and arugula and some of the mustard greens. These things help to dislodge any mucus that might be in the chest. If you're suffering from a cold and it goes directly to your chest, this is a Gemini trait or a mercurial trait, especially if there's lots of phlegm associated with that or lots of inflammation and redness associated with that. So it's very important to take soothing foods, Those are well-cooked foods, slippery foods, so oatmeal, okra, flaxseed tea. There's some herbs that are very good for those slippery condition. Colt's foot, pleurisy root, black cherry bark, licorice, mullein. So similar things that are good for the throat in Taurus, either in the moon or in the sun in Taurus, are also good for a Gemini because they impact the lower down. Now, mustard poultices, so putting Vicks Vapor Rub, oil of oregano in olive oil if you want to be more natural about it, or a camphor essential oil, something that's very volatile and kind of spicy, not direct contact to the skin. You want it in a carrier oil because you don't want it to burn the chest, but adding heat and warmth to that area can help break up any kind of condensation, and if there's any kind of choppy mucus in there, if it's difficult to breathe, if there's emphysema, people with emphysema, I recommend inhaling very slowly and deeply and working on abdominal strength by doing deep breathing exercises. I also recommend supplementation with glutathione, NAC. Those nutrients might also be found in a liver detox that can really help the lungs. Absolutely not smoking if you suffer from any lung conditions, or if you've had tuberculosis, or if you've had pneumonia in the past, because people who have already had those lung conditions tend to get it back again. As soon as you get the cold, it will go straight to your chest. And so it's important to have warm drinks. Now, some people will crave cold drinks, but it is important to have warm drinks so that things can be loosened up. So that can be chicken soup or sashimi soup, adding in the daikon or the spicy vegetables, the radish, the hot mustard, things like that. Really good to help lubricate and loosen the area. You want to stay away from too many stimulants, especially if you have a cough. Now, a hot toddy, which is like a shot of whiskey with a cinnamon clove, or some cloves, even better, might be good. You make a hot brew. If it's a alcohol-free, a virgin hot toddy, even better. So you might do some chamomile tea or some black cherry bark tea, and then steep that with some hot cloves, some cinnamon, add a little bit of honey there. Really good for loosening that, and just drink it a lot. Garlic and ginger tea as well. Ginger is also very good for congestion. Sorry, my heat is going. I forgot to turn it off. And the zodiac sign of Gemini also deals with the ability for the body to absorb oxygen. And those with Gemini and their moon in Gemini need plenty of air, should engage themselves in outdoor activities. So if you are going through a walk, make sure you're focusing on deep breathing. Definitely you want to be around clean air, not around smokers at all. Never smoke if you're a Gemini, absolutely not. Or if you have a moon in Gemini, have house plants indoors, so that it's cleaning your air all the time. It's getting rid of chemicals or carbon dioxide. It's producing oxygen. This is the cycle of life. This is how we generate oxygen in our environment, is that we have green plants around. Focusing on deep breathing, as I mentioned, really focusing from the abdomen, exercising when one can, especially outdoors, because the more you exercise, the more you're breathing, the more rapid your breath is, the deeper your breath is, and you're really oxygenating all your tissues, especially your lung area. So many people just breathe shallow. They just breathe from their chest. When we breathe, we really need to feel our abdomen. When you breathe in, your abdomen expands. So Geminis also get affected by all kinds of pollution and airborne diseases. So you want to be careful not to use fragrance and not to use bleaches. You want to use more natural cleaning products, and make sure that vinegars and borax and essential oils are more appropriate for Geminis. Invest in something like Snap instead of Tide, or the Snap line for cleaning, or just even vinegar. Something that's more natural, enzyme-based, as opposed to chemical and fragrance-based. Never use air fresheners. Never use Febreze. You really want to be in a clean environment, not a fake clean smelling environment, not a perfumed environment. You really want to be in a fresh, clean environment. Geminis also suffer from conditions where there's two of anything. So that can be the hands, the finger. I mean, there's 10 fingers, obviously, but it's bilateral. So you have one in your left and you have one in your right. Wrist issues. So Geminis can get prone to carpal tunnel syndrome. So again, that's quick, intense pains. They kind of tend to leave carpal tunnels when the nerve is entrapped. It's usually because of inflammation. So magnesium can really help with inflammation, just like it can help with um, muscle spasms. It can also help with inflammation when there's a spasm around the muscle. Other things that help with inflammation are turmeric, excellent, garlic, like I mentioned. So turmeric is actually even best in a curcumin form, which means it's already been prepared and it doesn't need to be mixed with ginger. And if you want to use turmeric, the food-based turmeric, in order to relieve your pain, you really do need to take 2 teaspoons every 2 hours so that it's really properly absorbed. It needs to be mixed with fat, like a coconut oil or a ghee or an olive oil, or even mixed in with a yogurt, a higher fat yogurt. But you don't want to use yogurt in order to relieve congestion in the chest, because dairy really doesn't tend to be good for the chest unless it's just a little bit of sour yogurt. Things that are sweetened are also bad for congestion, even orange juice, not good for the chest, not good for people with mucus. Sticky white bread, gummy, also not good for the chest. And also, all those foods can actually increase inflammation. So you want to look at the anti-inflammatory diet. So that's lots of green vegetables, root vegetables, low starch, high omega-3s like high fish, higher nuts, seeds like walnuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. I don't recommend omega-369. I only recommend omega-3 supplements. We're getting enough omega-6s already. It can be pro-inflammatory. Even with fish oils, we want to focus on EPA, not DHA. DHA can be pro-inflammatory if it's too much, especially if it's from fish. Now, algae sometimes has more DHA than EPA, but at least it's a vegan source of omega-3s or DHA. So that's the moon in Gemini. The sun in Gemini, when the sun makes an entry into Gemini, so for those with the sun sign Gemini, people are prone to all the Gemini ailments. So not just the moon disorders, but all the body parts that we have two of. So our hands, our wrists, our arms, our elbows, our shoulders, and then our legs, our knees, our ankles, our feet, our eyes, and our ears. So these body parts are also ruled by other signs, but anything where there's two, because Gemini represents the twins, can be affected. So stretching is really important for Gemini. Even though Geminis can be kind of quick to flash and then calm down quickly, or they say you say what's on your mind really easily, and that you can calm down, but your nervous system can take a beating with that. So you also do want to make sure that you're in a soothing environment, that you like your home, that your work is good for you, because it can really aggravate your nervous system. You want to avoid too much caffeine or too much alcohol. This can be really affect inflammation levels and your ability to digest food. If you're not digesting your food properly, then it can go up to you can get silent reflux, and it can affect your throat, and it can cause inflammation in your lungs. Geminis can also get hearing issues like ringing in the ears or loss of hearing. So you want to be careful about having too much sound around. The NAC that I mentioned, or the glutathione that are good to take for the breathing, are also great to take for ears, because NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is a supplement, and glutathione is the liver's main antioxidant, and these help to protect cells, especially delicate cells of the nervous system. Other herbs that are good for the nervous system would be chamomile, passion flower, hops, any kind of tension tamer tea or stress relief tea, very good for Geminis. Blindness can be a problem. So the eyes we have two of again, and so you want to make sure that you're getting the orange and red pigmented foods. So that's everything. So foods that have lutein, lycopene, and astaxanthin in them. So those are cooked tomatoes and the carrot family, squash family vegetables, as well as the crab, lobster, and shrimp. As long as they should be wild. It's difficult to get good sustainable, especially shrimp these days. But astaxanthin does come from krill oil, for instance, is on the market. I prefer fish mostly, but krill oil can really serve a purpose, especially astaxanthin can serve a really big purpose for people who are losing their eyesight. or having sclerosis, cataracts in the eyes that can be as related to sun damage or to smoking or to being surrounded by too much pollution. So whenever Geminis get sick, they can get over it really fast. And if so, somebody averages 7 to 10 days for a cold or a flu, a Gemini might average 3 to 4. So that's really good, but it's really important that the Geminis stay in bed and let themselves recover. Fallopian tubes are also an area of the body, so that's with women's reproductive system. The part, the fallopian tubes are the tunnel where the egg travels from the ovaries to the uterus. So every month that happens at ovulation, but then if the egg is implanted, fertilized, or sorry, if the egg is fertilized, then it travels down fertilized through the fallopian tube so that it implants into the uterus, so that pregnancy can occur and the baby can grow. An ectopic pregnancy, which is where the baby actually grows in the tube before it reaches the uterus, is a medical emergency. So that might happen in a Gemini. Also, the urethra and the ureter tubes. So those are the ureters go from the bladder go from the kidneys to the bladder. So they carry the urine from the kidneys to the bladder. The bladder is more of a vessel. There can be inflammatory conditions there, so either bladder infections or there can be cystitis. So that can be food related. So which can be triggered by acidic foods like alcohol, coffee, pineapples, tomatoes. Too many vinegar products like pickles can irritate and cause interstitial cystitis. Interstitial cystitis means that it's happening in the interstitium, which is the tissue between the the cavity and the peritoneum and the lining of the ureter. So just like pleurisy is that lining of the lung sac, the interstitium is the lining in the pelvis area. And so when that gets inflamed, it can be very, very painful. So again, we really want to focus on more alkalizing foods, not as many acidic foods, certainly not coffee and alcohol if that happens. If you notice that drinking alcohol causes you urgency, this can also be a Scorpio issue, but this can be a Gemini as well. So thanks so much, Gemini.